Hey everyone, I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold here with another 5 Minutes with Ben, and I'm Ben. This game was played at Hastings 1988-1989, the Open tournament, where I got my first IM norm. And the game where I got my first IM norm, the last round, this is the game. So I had no IM norms before this game. My FIDE rating was 2380. Sounds like a little higher than one of our good friends who's been ducking me. But anyway, I won the game, but I'm not going to show you the whole game. I'm going to show you the point until I was losing and how I didn't lose. So you could chalk this up to like another opening trap video. So it was a King's Indian. Mainline King's Indian, everything standard here. Okay, and if you've watched my streams a lot, you'll know that I often play the exchange variation here. And the theory that I know now is like from the 80s. So I usually get the game into positions that were never really popular, but people knew about them in the 80s. But now they've been forgotten, except by me. So, okay, so I take, and the reason I played this way, and I still do in Blitz chess, is because FIDE Master Fred Lindsay from Michigan liked to play this way, and we would look at chess sometimes, since we both lived in Michigan. Okay, he played knight bd7. You can also play rook e8 or c6 for knight a6. But okay, he played knight bd7. That's fine. I castled. He played rook f8. That's fine. You can also play rook e8. Rook f8 means that later in the game you want to play f5 and open up the f file. Okay, so knight d5 threatens his c7 pawn, and he can take the knight. And instead, he played c6, which is also possible. Check, takes. Okay, and in this position, I actually made the losing move. But I was only losing after I made the move. After his response, I was no longer losing. I'm supposed to play bishop e3 here, and the engine says that white is slightly better, 0.3, 0.4, 2 bishops. But I played rook d6, which is a known mistake. And now the engine says black is up like 1.6, 1.7. But if you don't know the trap, it's unlikely you're going to figure it out unless somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, rook d6 is a blunder. You have a very strong move here. Then maybe you would find it. And if black plays a normal move, it's just equal. But black has a very strong move, which I think I already knew about, but I didn't know was this position, which is knight c5. And if he had played that move, maybe I wouldn't have got my first IM norm at this tournament. So my e-pawn's attacked twice, and it's defended 0 times. Now, if he takes on e4 right away, then his knight's hanging. So I'm not worried about that. But after knight c5, which is the correct move, I can't defend my e4 pawn. He's got two attackers, and I have 0 defenders. So if I make a random move, he'll take my e4 pawn, and he's threatening my rook and my bishop and my f pawn. He's a pawn up. It's a center pawn. But the engine says that's what I have to do. The engine says I should go back to d1 and just be losing. But if I play the obvious moves, rook takes f6 and bishop takes f6. After rook takes f6, he plays knight takes e4, and my rook is trapped. By the way, his rook on f8 defends the f7 pawn. On the other hand, if his rook was on e8, I couldn't have played knight e7 check. So it goes both ways. Now I lose my rook, and I'll be down the exchange and a pawn. So that's no good. And if I take with the bishop, he just takes back. Bishop takes f6. Okay, now he's threatening my e-pawn, and if I take the bishop, once again my rook is trapped, and I lose my rook for nothing. So I'd be down the exchange again. And you might think, well, black's not up material. What's the problem? Problem is my e4 pawn's hanging, which forks my rook on d6 and my pawn on f2. If I defend it the obvious way, knight d2, that defends my pawn. That also traps my rook. And now bishop e7, and black wins the exchange because the rook is trapped. And I guess bishop d3 also defends the e-pawn, and bishop e7 still. So no matter what happens after the move knight c5, the engine says black is winning. Black's either going to win the e4 pawn for nothing, or black's going to win an exchange, depending on what white does. Now, luckily, we didn't see that. My opponent played h6, and I played bishop e3, and all that nonsense is stopped, and now the engine says it's equal. And basically, I outplayed him in the middle game, early end game, and the final position, since I want to show, which was 26 moves later, was this position where I have two bishops, and now I'm skewering his king and rook, and also his bishop is hanging. So I have a choice of what pieces to win. At this position, he resigned, and then I got my first IM norm. Well, this has been Grandmaster Ben Finegold, and showing you an opening trap that I fell into. My opponent didn't see it, and I still won. What's funny is this was played in Great Britain, and my opponent's name was Richard Britton. His name was Britton, although not spelled like Great Britain, spelled a different way. And he was 2260 FIDE, and I was 2380 FIDE. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time with more 5 Minutes with Ben. Bye, everybody.